Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Source and Company. I am your host, Source. Of course, as always, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter at Smitty Source on both of those. Subscribe to the Source and Company YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, something. Subscribe to something. And follow the Source and Company Instagram, which is Source, the letters NCO podcast _ RVA. That's a lot, I know, but it is what it is. Anyway, this is episode 40. Normally, I don't say what episode it is, but I'm guaranteeing that this is going to be episode 40. Episode 39, we look back at the first 38 episodes. Thank you to everybody who's appeared on the show so far. And now we're up to episode 40, and we have another bit of company. Today's company is, I got to read. Let me break out my notebook because I got it over here on the side. Today's company appears in Swagger, which is the drama about the life of Kevin Durant. Hopefully that'll be out soon. We shall see. She is also the first theater teacher at Boushall Middle School, which is dope in itself, trying to bring the arts back to the city. Can't wait to talk about that. She's working on her doctorate in theater education. Sheesh. And she is part of the Fine Arts Department, Virginia Department of Education board. Is that board?
Fine Arts curriculum instruction and lesson
instruction. And one more time, she's the first African-American member of the Virginia Theater Association board. Yeah, she got a lot going on. So we're gonna find out. Oh, and she's in a Google commercial too, but we just throw that in there. Her name, Desirée Dabney. What up, Des?
Hey!
That's a lot. She got a lot going on.
It's a little something slight, something slight.
Something. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm making it. There's 10 more days until winter break, so I'm counting down for myself and my students.
Amen. How has it been? I was going to get a couple of teachers together and discuss how it's been for them. But I have you right here. How has it been dealing with COVID and just trying to finagle your way through this whole thing for the last couple of months?
Yeah, so I think I always go back to March because it's like a day that I will never forget, because I was talking to my principal, which I'll shout out to LaTonya Waller. She's one of the best principals I have. Love her. But the school day, because it was like a Friday or like a Thursday, but we were having this big Boushall kind of spirit day. We had a faculty and staff and student basketball game. We had soccer games. Everything was going on. But what we didn't know, that was gonna be the last time that we physically saw our students in person, because those next couple of days, Northern was and we're going to have to shut down Virginia. And I was in my room boo-hoo, and I was I can't do this, man. What am I gonna do without my babies? I was on the floor waiting to exhale, crying. Okay. It was nobody expected it. And then the next thing they were so what's next? And for me, I teach in Richmond, so I was I'll tell you what's next for me. I texted my kids because I teach middle school. They like to take people's phones and, Miss Daddy, text me, girl.
Set up.
But because I had them, I was hey, everybody, I'm just checking on y'all. I went on my computer. I called every single one of my parents that next day. I was hey, this is Miss Dabney, just checking on you. And every parent was Miss Dabney, you have got to talk to my son. You've got to talk to my daughter. We got to figure this out. And I was okay, cool. So from that point in March, I was I set up some Zoom classes, because at that time, we didn't really have anything, but I didn't want them not to have something because everybody was trying to figure something out. And I know having a middle schooler in the house, we will keep them occupied.
Man, the middle schoolers is something. Yes, that's a lot. Actually, the third episode I did talk to a principal, a teacher, and a guidance counselor, just trying to figure out what was next and how things were going for teachers, how things were going for the students, parents, etc. Um, but I don't know if, I mean, obviously it was going to be different going into this year. It's going to be a whole new world. But I don't know if people necessarily expected it to be maybe still going on. Like I don't think people thought of it still going on. Maybe at the beginning of the year, but going into 2021, I don't think people were ready for that.
I don't think so either. And actually it's kind of like it was interesting because the shift changed against like teachers probably that started like September because like then it was like, oh, teachers are not helping my children, we are not doing well for our kids. And it's like first off, we are only one person.
Right.
We are doing the best that we can, and I think people forgot that teachers are humans too. Like there's a teacher at my school that just had a baby, and like sometimes like you'll like see her and like the camera like and like staff meetings, she's like, hi. What I'm saying? It's like, so yeah, we are all in this together, and a lot of people forget about it. And that's why I like stopped sometimes going on Facebook and stuff like that, because like once somebody has, because for Richmond there's a possibility that we will be virtual. Our superintendent already said that my vote is virtual for the rest of the year. Well, the comments on that post was ridiculous.
Of course.
It was, it was just crazy. It's like, dang, y'all, we can't. So we're just robots. We can't live either. It's like, I have a family, like, I have a dog.
Y'all don't get any benefits, no benefit of the doubt, no nothing. Y'all just got to be there and take care of these kids. Because people are used to full-time babysitting. To occupy their children's minds and time during the day. They're like, I ain't got to worry about them from this point to this point. Now you got to worry about them all the time. And you're like,
right.
Lord, I ain't know. If I would have known this was going to happen in my lifetime, I wouldn't have had these kids.
Right. It's definitely an adjustment. And what I do is I just make sure that I stay in communication with all my parents. I don't care if you failing or not. I'm just, hey girl, how you doing? See your son. And it's just like keeping that open communication. And like they have my number, they have my email. I have, parents hit me up on Instagram sometimes like, is she lying about this assignment? No, she's not. Just to keep that. And my students have my number, and they will text me and call me. But sometimes it's for like, Miss Dabney, because I have like one student, he'll call me, he'll say, Miss Dabney, what you doing? Nothing. He's like, okay, so I'm home alone. I'm all right. So let's do some tutoring, let's do some homework until your mom gets home. And it's like the small things like that at least as a teacher, I know that I can do. And even though in our contract it's not 24 hours, but when this started, it's 24 hours. It is.
Yeah. Well, just know that we appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you for sure. I appreciate all those teachers out there because I can't imagine. I know it's a struggle.
We make it.
That's right. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. So I mentioned that you are the first theater teacher at Boushall.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a big deal. One, yeah. Two, how did this come about? Like, were you looking to be a theater teacher, or how did we get here?
Yeah. So, first with Richmond Public Schools, a lot of the arts, it was like a lot of like music, but there wasn't a lot of like dance, theater. In a lot of schools. And so there was opportunity for me to come in and I was like teaching like theater classes as like a contractor. But when the money was there and the opportunity came, I was like, yes, because it is important. A theater teaches you different life skills. And so I was like, I don't want this to happen again in Richmond Public Schools. If we're going to do it, then we need to commit. I wasn't going to come in without a full commitment from all the upper heads. And now we are adding more and more theater teachers and dance teachers to all the middle schools and eventually all of the high schools. So that way, they'll have, like theater 1 and 2 and 3 in middle school. Then if they're still interested, they'll have that high school teacher there. And hopefully, that's when we can start college and all that stuff. Because and hopefully next year we will have like the first ever like theater festival for all of Richmond Public Schools, which is going to be dope and, cool. But my thing was, I was like, it's 2020 and y'all don't have a theater teacher? Come on now, y'all.
What do you think that is? I mean, as much as you can say, I don't want you to talk negatively about your employer, but is it the city? It's the city that is the issue, I guess, or was the issue?
I would say a lot of times, a lot of people just don't know like what theater is really. We know what theater is because we watch it every day, right? On movies, on TV. But like the actual class is like, oh yeah, my kid doesn't need it. In reality, it's like, yeah, kind of do. Because we're teaching more than theater. So it was definitely had to, prove yourself and prove that the arts needs to stay. But a lot of times, if a district has to cut something first, then it's usually the arts. It's just like right? It's like the easiest thing to cut. And my goal, that's why I'm doing all this work now, is to make sure that doesn't happen again. Like that like arts funding is not going to be cut anymore, because there's a lot of students that, like it's a reason why if you walk into a school, you'll see different pods of students, you know what I'm saying? And in my classroom, I have all the kids who are like, I don't like sports, I don't like to talk, but I'm in theater, so it's like I have like all like, as they call themselves, the theater dope geeks, as they say, because it's like they feel like they don't fit in, but they know that they fit in my classroom. So if I can just help them at least figure out like who like pretty much like who you are. You do not have to be in this mode of, if you don't, like if you don't do this, then you're not gonna be here. No. A lot of I tell my kids all the time, you think NBA young boy did not take a theater class, you're lying. It is, it is a lie. And like I showed them like that clip of like Nicki Minaj in her theater class, and they were like, "That's Nicki." I was like, "That's Nicki." And that just that right there showed them like, wow, like, okay, I'm gonna stay. And so and it's also like breaking those molds of our Black and brown babies in the city, of showing them what it is to be great. And not leaving them. So that's my goal. That's why we made it.
I feel like you're in charge of literally in charge of bringing the arts back to Richmond.
Yeah, sometimes I feel that way, but I know that I'm on an amazing team, that we are like leading that revolution, to make sure that it's here. And we're not going anywhere, so can't move me.
That's great. Let's talk about childhood. Let's run it back a little bit. Your family dynamic. So I'll let you tell it.
Yeah. So for me, my family is amazing. I always say that. My mom and dad, like my dad is very, very ambitious. Like every goal that he has is like hit. My mom is the same way. A lot of my grandmothers, a lot of people in my family like that. And so for me, I was like, my dad thinks that the reason why I can sing is because of him. That's a lie. The brother can't carry a tune, but they saw something in me at a very young age. I was in my first commercial at 3 years old. It was an Ethan and Allen commercial on Broad Street when it was open. doing a little Christmas tree, you know what I'm saying? But they saw something in me and they were like, if this is who you want to be, because I never shut up. I was always talking, always singing, always dancing. And I was in acting, singing and dancing at the age of 3, and I just have not stopped. And that made that my goal. And what I appreciate was my parents letting me be who I am. Like my dad has a karate school, so he was like, "You still gonna learn some karate, but you can sing after." You know what I'm saying?
I'm definitely gonna bring up the karate thing. I was like, your dad got that.
Yeah. So I that's why I'm always smiling, but I always tell people don't do it.
You don't want to catch these chops. Don't catch these.
Right. Yeah. So from there, I went to Center for the Arts at Henrico High School. I was performing professionally and in school. I was in Spark for 10 years, and now I'm a Spark teacher.
That's what I was going to bring up, though. That was my connection, so I could mention my wife. Hey, Nicole, love you.
Hi, Nicole.
So yeah, my wife was in Spark, and you were in Spark, and yeah, I had to bring up that connection. I mean, that's what husbands do. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, and and it was important, and it was important to me that when I went to college, I was going to major in what I love, and that was acting. And so I got into Shenandoah. I got a bunch of scholarships. Was very blessed to do that because I know, $50,000 for a little acting certificate. Some people were like, "You gonna do what?" I was like, "No, watch me work." So you know the power of God. Watch me work. And so I went to Shenandoah, broke a lot of molds there, was many a first. And then I realized that I also wanted to teach. And that a lot of people thought that was me having something to fall back on, but no, I was still gonna act regardless. I don't care if I'm outside downtown on Main Street singing with but I know that for me, how my theater teachers were and how the arts changed me, I knew that I could do that for somebody else. And my grandmother was a special educator, and she is amazing. And I was always in her, like when she babysat me, I had no choice but to go with her. And from them, I was like, "Oh man, this is good." And I knew that I could combine special education and theater and me teaching in one. I was like, I just know I can, but there wasn't anything specific. So I had to major in acting, and then I had to minor in theater for youth teaching with a special education concentration. There was nothing like that made before. I guess I was like the only person from SU to do that. But when I came out of school, there still wasn't anything that combined it. So I was just like a special education teacher, singing and acting with my kids. And then at night I was on stage. Until I figured out how to really add those things together in my life through drama therapy. And that's like essentially like what I do now. And that's another reason why I was like, I need to go back to school if I'm going to be doing this.
Drama therapy, explain.
Yeah, so drama therapy is very similar to music therapy, except you are using your voice and you are like being different characters. So for instance, and this is for anybody, but if I always tell people that if you are sad, that next thing that makes you smile is maybe something that you think about, or maybe it's a character, or maybe it's somebody, those like falling down videos, like, oh, that made me happy. With this, you are trying to figure out in your body what makes you happy through drama, through theater, and how you can create. And so if I have a child that is, maybe not happy at that moment. And I work with a lot of children and adults with disabilities. And so that's how we communicate, right? I can make a funny face and then we can talk in like a character voice. And then I can have my student who may not be the happiest at that moment, all of a sudden their face would light up and they would mimic my voice. And then we are, next thing I know, we are in the safari, you know? And it's really just bringing back imagination. I don't know why people, it's like, once you are done being a child, it's like the imagination just stops. And the creativity kind of just stops because, you know, when you are an adult, things happen. You have bills, right? Absolutely. But really, it's like we can't stop our imagination, because I think that's sometimes what blocks people. I think sometimes.
You know, it's a credit to your parents, because it's not a lot of times that we are able to dream and, you know, follow that up through schooling and feel like you're being pushed to that, as opposed to I hope this work out for you, or, you know, it's gonna be I told you so moment later in life. You know, I feel like the village pushes you to where you are, and you're accepting that. That's a lot. It's still a lot.
It is.
How do you cope though? Like, not that that's a bad thing. Obviously, you want to be pushed to what you want to do, but how do you even think about failure? Is failure even a thing in your mind? Can you fail? Because I feel like you've already succeeded.
You know, for me, my dad taught me that you can fall so many times, but it's up to you to pick yourself up. And I'll, you know, because he was a professional fighter. So if he failed or if he got beat, it was like, true, cool. Watch me next time though. And I think he instilled that in me and my little sister, because we're always like, and like for me, I'm a professional actor, so I can go to an audition and, you know, they're like, you're just a little, you're not what I need. It's like, okay, cool. I'll see you next time. You know what I'm saying? And if he did not build that in me and my little sister, I would be a wreck right now.
Yeah.
A wreck. Because it's like, every day, you know, sometimes it's you know, every day people say, oh Lord, it's always something, but that is life. Sometimes it is always something. But I know for me, if I fail or something, if I feel like that I'm not doing my best, because I am a perfectionist, then I step back, I look at my picture, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me try this. And I always live life with, I'm always going to try something new and learn something new so I can make myself better. Because you are always, I say you are always a work of art, but the art can always be changed.
Does life imitate art, or does art imitate life?
Ooh, I had that question in college.
Did you?
Yes. Oh man, that question always gets me. And for me, the way I see life is art. And I always, and this is just me, like in my imagination, I wrote a whole paper on it. I always see my life as like a movie. And like every morning it's like, hi, I'm Desiree. So today we really don't know what's going to happen, but watch and see. And you know, I think it is, I always say that life is creating that art. There is some art that is like already done, but something always comes out new. That's a hard question. I'm gonna ask my students that actually.
I'm here for, I bring the hard questions, you know.
Right, the hard questions.
So, here's a hard question. How did you get on this swagger? Let's talk about Kevin Durant. Let's not talk about Kevin Durant, but swagger is the life story adaptation of Kevin Durant's life anyway. How did you get this opportunity, and how was it? How has it been? I know they're filming again now, and I know the process started a year ago, right?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah. So I man, because years go by. Yeah, I think it was a year ago. For me, it was just another random audition. I saw the audition come up and I was like, okay. And when I auditioned, I did not know what, like, you get details, but you really don't know what it was for. And I was in the process, actually. It's called a callback process for the movie Harriet, for a role in that movie. And so while I was auditioning for that, I was like, oh, well, now that we have all these auditions in Richmond, let me just go to that. And I submitted online. I had to like submit like my headshot and resume. They send you back lines to code read. So I'll record myself. I sent it back. They asked me to come back in for an audition. I was all right, cool. And I said a couple lines in front of a camera. And then I was at Spark Summer Camp and I got a call from LA. And I was like, man, this is a telemarketer. Cause like, I really like, once I audition for something, I don't wait on it. I'm like, all right, cool. I audition and we'll see what happens. And it was like, hi, this is so-and-so from casting. And I was like, hello, this is she. I'm available. and when I did all that, she sent me the email, and that's when I realized I called my dad. I said, Dad, bro, we made it. He said, what you mean? I said, we made it. I said, wait till I was like, I'm coming over, y'all. I gotta talk to y'all. And I realized that it was for the adaptation of Kevin Durant's life. I didn't realize that they were going to be filming here, but they did. They did. And the role that I got for a couple of those episodes, because like things change, but his mom was a makeup consultant. And so I played one of her, like, you know, funny friends talking about the makeup. Girl, did you? But it was, I mean, that was my first time ever even having my name like on a trailer, you know, having my, you know, my own trailer and everything like it. And that's, in that moment, I was like, a girl is bad. Because and then like all the actors in the show, I was the only one from Richmond. You know, everybody else was very well known, very, very well known. And here I am like, how you doing? Hey.
Welcome.
Hey.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So, yeah, like you mentioned, you are filming in Richmond, and that's crazy because everybody else had to come to you, and I guess you're the newest, I guess maybe least experienced as far as this level of work on the block, but you're the hometown kid. Did that have any benefits?
Yes, it did, because they were like, girl, where can we go eat? Because we hungry.
Exactly.
Said, have y'all tried Mama J's? We got this, we got that. And I mean, that was like, that was fun, because like when I went in, I was very quiet, which that was new for me, because I'm never quiet. I've been on, you know, I've done over 100 shows on stage. And for this, I was like, that's right, Dad. You know, like, I did not know, you know, and somebody one day I was talking to my mom in my trailer, and I said, all right, Mom, I have to go because I need to memorize my lines. And she was, okay. And my sister, which little fun fact, my sister has helped me with every single line that I've had in anything that I've done. And to this point, I can't do a show without her. So it was kind of like, I was like, Alexis, I kind of need you here. She said, girl, I ain't coming down there. Because at that time we were filming in a Gilpin court. And she said, girl, I put a prayer on you. I said, leave me alone. I said, you don't. I am, you know, I was like, we are good. We are in Richmond. It is good. But she, you know, she helped me with my line, but I could not send her my lines or even tell her what I was going to say. So it was like me on my own. I don't like this. But then I got a knock on my door, and it was like, hi, Miss Dabney, do you need anything to drink? I was like, no, I'm fine, because I brought my snacks and water, you know. I said, oh no, I don't know how we do business around here, but I'll make sure I'm good. I had Chipotle in my bag.
You were not playing.
I was not playing. And then, I was providing the food. I was like, okay, thanks. But I think if I ever, if whenever I get my next role or whatever it is, I'm gonna still bring my own food. I just always get so nervous.
Well, it's understandable. I mean, to an extent, it's understandable. That was and is a great experience, and it's a great opportunity. And I expect it to lead into more things. Did it lead into this Google commercial though?
Actually did. It's like once you do something and an agent sees you, then when they have a role that is like, oh, well, I have a couple people, like in my list that I can email, and that's what happened. I was emailed an audition slip, and I was all right. I was like Google, all right, cool. And since it's COVID, the audition was a little different. I had to like record myself talking about myself. So I recorded myself in my little classroom. And I, of course, get a call and they're like, oh yeah, well, we would love for you to be in the commercial. I was like, okay, cool. Still, I did not know what it was for until I signed the contract and they came to my house. And it was like 6 people in my house setting up a living room. I was like, oh. And it's so funny because like it was like everything was filmed in my living room. That was my couch. That was my living room, everything. And they set up 3 Mac computers, sound, lights, everything. My actual house was shut down for 2 days because Google was here.
That's crazy. See, I didn't even think about the fact. I mean, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. It's you. So either you've got to travel to a set, or the set's got to travel to you. And you had the set. Your home was the set, and the people traveled to you. That's a wild experience, though. That's definitely not the norm.
It was not. It was definitely not. And it was cool because the commercial was for like the Google Nest. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's very similar to Alexa, only it has like you can like video chat with people. And so that was in my house. And then on the computer, it was like 10 different faces looking at me and like telling me what to do. So essentially I was still like talking to the little Google Nest, happy Thanksgiving, hey y'all, talking to myself. But I did not know. I need to read my contracts. I still didn't know like what it was for. So I was like, all right, cool. It's for marketing. That's great. Awesome. Well, if I see it, I see it. If I don't, at least I know that I did it. But on Thanksgiving Day, it was like maybe like 9 a.m. And my Facebook was like going off. And I was like, all right, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Oh, somebody saw me in a commercial.
Yeah, so the commercial appeared on the Macy's Day Parade show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It played like 5 different times. And I like the first time I was all right, people saw me cool. And I was like, Mom, you did. She was like, girl, I'm cooking corn pudding. I said, you did not see the commercial? I heard her drop the phone and run to the TV. And Lexi was like, well, Mom didn't season the corn pudding correctly because she has to look for you on the screen.
We're going to struggle through this corn pudding for you. It's your fault.
It's my fault.
That's wow. Man, that's dope. I love it. Oh, you know what? I forgot to ask you, actually. We were talking about school, and I mentioned that you're working on your doctorate for theater education, right? Mm-hmm. At?
University of Richmond.
Just wanted to give you that chance to shine. Go Spiders thing, and I'll let you have that one. So somebody told me, totally different topic, somebody told me that you are I don't know if they call it a fan, maybe a stan in the past of one Whitney Houston.
Yes.
Yes. So that's your go-to. That's your one.
That's my one.
Well, I'm obviously how you probably heard her sing, and it was like, yo, and then that I wanna okay. Was she an inspiration as far as wanting to do music, music theater?
Oh, yes, yes. And actually, you know, the I think in my memory, one of like the first times I like really, really saw her was and I was born in 92, so I wasn't really allowed to watch Waiting to Exhale. But see, my
Okay.
grandma did not, yeah. See, my mom was like, don't let her watch Waiting to Exhale. Cause I would like repeat stuff. Yeah, I was, but my nanny, she was a very bold woman.
Mm.
And I remember her watching Wait and Exhale because she loved what's that guy? Allstate. Are you in good
Oh,
hands?
Dennis Haysbert.
Yes. My nanny loved that man. And so whenever he was in something, she would watch. And I watched like the whole Wait and Exhale with her very young. I was like, oh, this is good. And when that song Shoot came on, I they could not shut me up. I was like, shoot, shoot. My mom was like, how you? I said, you better ask your mother-in-law. Okay. And then and then the Cinderella came out, and that showed me that it does not matter what color you are. If you want to be a fairy godmother, you can be a fairy godmother. And that her playing that role for me, that put me like in the mode of, if I'm not a fairy godmother before I turn 50, there's a problem.
It's goals. Fairy godmother.
Yes.
Wow. So was it? Are you more of a act? Well, if it's acting or singing, as far as Whitney Houston, we're on Whitney Houston now. It's Whitney Houston's moment. Acting or singing, which one was more? I'm guessing acting at this point because you mentioned it.
Acting, but the music, the singing. I mean, she can do things with her voice that people like to imitate,
Mm,
but still people, it's just like Luther Vandross. I'm sorry, ain't nobody, like there's some people are just untouchable, and
right.
she, for me, is untouchable.
Yeah. I always find it interesting on different singing shows where someone was, I'm doing Whitney Houston's, and be like, stop, time out,
Stop.
stop right there. Why are you doing this to yourself? Because there's only, I mean, it's either home run or nah, bro. Like you knew better. You knew this was not your thing.
Right.
Whitney's untouchable. That's what it is.
Thank you. Untouchable. I was definitely gonna watch the Preacher's Wife tonight because that is my little holiday season kickoff.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting. Interesting. Uh yeah, okay. I mean, I ain't mad at you, Preacher's Wife. If I said I didn't really care for the Preacher's Wife, is that a problem? I don't. I'm just joking. I just said if I said it, I ain't.
What?
I ain't mean it.
Some of the greatest Chris holiday songs came from that movie.
Is that a Christmas movie?
Consider it one because it like the whole movie was centered around December and around like that, like how about losing that holiday spirit.
Mhm.
And and like Denzel being that little, that I always call him a fairy. I guess it was a fairy. But
Mhm.
right, he was a fairy. But just the music in that movie, it okay.
All right. All right. So when you're not standing over Whitney Houston, do you call her Nippy? Are you one of those?
I don't. I call her Whitney. I call her Whitney.
I got friends that love Whitney Houston and they say Nippy like that's their first cousin.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I put respect on the name. I never knew her, but Whitney.
Dang, I forgot what I was about to say. So what do you do when you're not? Yeah, this is what I was about to say. What do you do when you're not watching Whitney Houston stuff, acting? teaching or with your family, I guess? What do you do?
Yeah, honestly, I I love being alone. I love sitting in my room, playing music, coloring, watching TV, or sleeping. Sometimes I just shut everything down and I just sleep. Um, and it like that for me, because I'm always busy. People are always like, I don't know how you do everything you do.
Yeah.
I'm sure when you get home, but I'm like, when I get home, I like to sleep. And also cook. I love to cook. Um, I don't like I can have like the music blasting in my house, cooking a good meal, getting a glass of wine, watching TV. That's a perfect day for me. Perfect day.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I do enjoy the peace and quiet of moments alone, few and far between sometimes, but yeah, I get it. I get it. So, oh man, I don't know where I want to go with this. Talk about you mentioned your sister a couple times, and I know that you love your sister. It's not always like a lot of times people have bonds with their siblings or friendships or whatever. I don't know if y'all are best friends or anything like that, but I feel like y'all are like this.
Yeah.
And there's what 6 year age difference? Something
5 year.
5 year age difference. So were you the protective big sister, or because I mean Lex is feisty. I think that's a family trait though.
Yeah, it is. But she is the most firecrackiest. She is a firecracker. But I was the protective sister. I still am, and it legit gets on her nerves. I think like when we got older, she was like, "All right, like sometimes she's like, all right, Desiree, you were right." I'm like, I was, and like we really like our sister fights weren't like it was like, oh my gosh, mom, tell Lexi to stop jumping everywhere. And and Lexi's like, mom, tell her to shut up. What I'm saying? And we still do that. Over Thanksgiving, we watched Jingle Jangle together.
We did too.
And oh my gosh, and I was loving the movie. I don't know why they didn't call me for that best episode. No plan. but Lexi was like, can you just stop singing? You don't know the songs. We are watching the movie together. I was like, but the music is good. She was like, mom, tell her she does not know the songs. She's not a star right now. Google's not calling.
Yeah, that sound about right.
Right. And that's how we go back and forth. But she is my best friend. I can't, we don't go a day without sending each other funny TikToks, pictures on Instagram. And we have this weird thing where we will call and FaceTime each other and we won't say anything. We just look at each other. And then she's like, bye. I'm like, all right, bye.
Just wanted to see your face. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful though. Because like I said, a lot of people don't have that sibling bond, So appreciate it.
Yeah, most definitely.
What else you got for the people? Any last words, any last thoughts, anything I missed, anything you want to say, anything on your heart? Did the Lord put anything on your heart this morning?
I did. Well, first off, thank you for having me on here.
I told you what before there was even a show. I told you I wanted to talk to you. We ran into each other where what's the restaurant? I don't remember the name of the place.
Oh man, where were we? First Watch.
There, yeah. And that's when I first found out that you were in Swagger. And we talked about it then. But yeah, go on. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. No, I just say like whoever is watching, just don't give up on on your goals, but also your imagination. The year that we are in has been very pressing and taxing on a lot of people.
Mhm.
And it is important that you always work on yourself. I always tell people to find your peace. So if that means that you download the Calm app, or if you go on YouTube and look up how to breathe, that's what we need to start doing, because I think our minds are so rattled, trying to figure out like the next. Everybody trying to figure out, oh my gosh, what do I have to do now? But I don't think we really take the time to settle, breathe, and that's one thing that I learned in theater, especially having like a Black teacher and learning like different African terms like ashe, meaning that you are your authority, you are the power. And always telling myself at the end of every night, I say, whew, ashe. And that means to me that I am the power, I am me, and I'm the one that I control me. I control how I react. And nowadays I think people are just so quick to react to different things. Instead of just
So much going on.
so much.
That's real though, because especially like I think about people who are on the edge, which we're all on the edge, but people who are on the edge of any type of mental
Mm-hmm.
issues.
Mm-hmm.
Now dealing with the world as it is today, and you never know what's next. You don't know. Day to day,
Don't know.
something new. You never know what's going to happen. And it's what, 9 months. It's been 9 months of constant change, and then sit, and then some change, and then we sit, and it's a lot. It's taxing. I mean, for me, I think I'm in decent mental health. It can be heavy. That's why I mentioned those when you said about the moments alone, or just being by yourself, just enjoying that, because it can be stressful. I can definitely agree with
Mm-hmm. Yep, it can. So as long as you find your own routine, and I think that's also, I think for me as a Black woman, and just in general, it's very like, oh girl, what you mean like you be doing yoga and all that stuff? Try it. You know what I'm saying? Like you may like it. Like we have to stop this thing of you don't need therapy, you good. I'm not. You're not. we have to I think just as a group make it, normalize going to therapy, normalize going to yoga, normalize drinking like healthy juices, and like changing the way we eat. Now I'm not gonna knock going to McDonald's every once in a while, give me a quarter pounder of cheese, but
I would even do that.
right, but I am going to detox and do this and do that, and steam my hair, and watch what I put on my beautiful melanated skin. You know what I'm saying? Just like learning different things like that. I feel like we just have to like break those molds, break those barriers, and just be free. We just have to just knock it down, be free.
Oh, and we're gonna have to end this thing. I see the karate about to come out with the punches. So hold on.
Oh,
look. I appreciate you joining me, Desiree. Let the people know, even though I'm sure it'll pop up on the screen multiple times during this episode, let the people know where they can follow you.
Yeah, so Instagram, I'm at Diva Desiree 1. It's DIVADESIREE, the number 1. That is also my TikTok. Some of my TikToks have gone viral because I'm like talking as like a virtual teacher, so that's been fun. Twitter, Diva Desiree 1. Facebook. If you are a parent and you have a question about something, please hit me up on Facebook. I'm always talking to parents on Facebook. It's just Desirée Dabney, DESIREE, last name Dabney, DABNEY. I talk to parents all over the world pretty much, because I've mentored I mentored over 75 teachers this summer on how to teach virtually, and just keeping those connections. I always say, just send me a message on Facebook, whatever. And I just love to help. So if you have a question, hit me up. I'm your girl.
Awesome. Thank you again, Desiree. Appreciate you. Good luck going forward. And Sauce.